The organizations like us today are looking for more than just a supplier. We need a technical partner. So the basics must be rock solid. So use of high quality raw materials, stable manufacturing processes, strict adherence to the agreed specification. And second, we expect suppliers to have a robust quality assurance protocols in their places. The batch level traceability, pre-shipment testing, regular feedback loops. But when things go wrong, and sometimes they do, right, what matters is how fast and effectively the supply responds. So whether it's a remote troubleshooting or on-site visits or a joint root cause analysis, so that technical support needs to be a very, very proactive and solution focused. And finally, a future-ready supplier also brings a sustainability mindset. So offering recyclable or a biodegradable options that meet evolving the regulatory and the brand expectations. It's about the trust, consistency, shared commitment to the quality, continuous improvement.
I'm very pleased to have Mr. Sandeep Talgaonkar on Legends of Metallizing podcast. Mr. Sandeep Talgaonkar is a seasoned manufacturing and supply chain leader with over 34 years of experience across industries like Tata Steel, PepsiCo, and Mondelēz International. His last stint was as the plant director at Mondelēz, where he led large scale operations, digital transformation, and sustainability initiatives. Sandeep is also known for his expertise in packaging innovation, operational excellence, and people leadership, and has played a key role in driving productivity, quality, and compliance across diverse FMCG environments. He was recently recognized as one of India's most impactful supply chain leaders by ETNow. A strong believer in continuous learning, he is also pursuing advanced studies in human resource management from DIS, further strengthening his leadership depth. I'm very, very pleased to have you, Mr. Sandeep, and welcome to this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me here. Thank you.
Yeah. And I'm so happy to have you here. Your experience in FMCG is going to be very valuable for the listeners of this podcast who are primarily from the packaging industry. So, with that, let me jump to the first question that I have for you. So, from an FMCG perspective, what are the top three qualities that FMCG brands like Mondelēz and Pepsi look for when they are sourcing metallized films?
Okay. I mean, very good question. So start with, so when it comes to the metallized packaging films in FMCG world or a CPG world, and especially for the global brands like Mondelēz or a PepsiCo, so there are three standout qualities matter. First and foremost is barrier performance. So what is that? So these films must consistently protect the product from the moisture, oxygen, and of course the light. And why? We all know that because even a slight compromise here can directly impact the shelf life and of course ultimately the consumer's experience. So it's not just about the keeping the product fresh, it's about maintaining brand trust every time when the pack is opened. The second is seal integrity. Once the product is packed, it goes through a complex journey. And starting with the warehouses, trucks, sometimes, in India, we have a bad road conditions as well. And the long retail cycles where the temperature also matters. If the seal is not a strong enough or a reliable, it does risk getting punctured or weakened and along the way. So that's not only the cause product spoilage, but it also damages the brand image. And the third one would be the visual appeal. So FMCG is a that battlefield on the shelf, right? So glossy, well finished metallized films add a premium look. So it catches the consumer's eye. It helps brands stand out in a cluttered retail environment. And of course, this does appears because a part of the consumer's perception of a quality as well. So to sum up, high barrier performance, robust seal integrity, premium visual appeal, and these are all non-negotiable when the organizations like PepsiCo or Mondelēz brands evaluates the metallized packaging films.
Okay, so my question is when these films come into the plant, do you do batch testing of each roll or film? Or how do you quality test if the film that has come in the plant is
See,
uh, as per
not,
standards?
not every role, definitely, we go by batch wise. So, for
Okay.
example, in a truck, we get the rolls. So, we test the batch, and
Okay.
particularly, we get almost 3 to 4 batch numbers. So,
Okay.
completely, we also go by the CO at the winter. So, we don't check if each roll in, in,
Okay.
in
Okay. Okay.
plant.
Okay, got it. Okay, my next question, Mr. Sandeep, is how do packaging films influence consumer perception? Like you mentioned that, shiny, glossy image gives a premium finish, if premium look to the package. So, how does the look, the feel, the performance of metallized film impact the buying decision of consumers?
Of course, that's the very relevant question in today's very highly competitive retail landscape. So packaging, especially in our market or in our organization, is often the first impression of a consumer, which has a brand. So before they even read the label or pick up the product, it's the look and the gloss and the feel of the packaging that attract them, right? So metallized films play a significant role here. So these films immediately communicate a sense of premium quality, the glossy finish, stiffness, tactile feel in the brand or a hand create. Okay, so that is in goes into subconscious mind in consumer. So it goes that the product inside, what is inside is fresh or high quality or worth the price. So I've seen this firsthand. Okay, so consumers often associate with the shine and finish with the refreshness. So because I used to go to the market and maybe malls, so I talk to them. Okay, so the finish, freshness, and care. So obviously, and if conversely, if the film looks dull, or if there is a delamination or a poor finishing, it sends a negative signal immediately. And it may be the same product inside, but the perception of quality diminishes, right? So affecting the purchase intent immediately. So yes, the visual and the sensory experience of the packaging influence buying decisions. And today the brands are not just selling products, they are selling experiences, packaging films, and these are very, very crucial part of our that the consumer experience.
Right. So, Mr. Sandeep, when a film fails, like for example, there's barrier loss, sealing issues, etc. So then, how does that affect the production line, and what do FMCGs need from suppliers to prevent such issues?
Okay, of course. So the part one I'll answer and then part two later on. The part one you ask the impact of the film failures in the manufacturing operations, right? So the film failures on the production line, whether it is barrier loss or a poor sealing, immediately can cause a serious disruptions, especially in a high volume FMCG environments, because our lines or the packaging machines, the new generation packaging machines packs 1200 packs per minute. So there will be a machine downtime if the film does not seal properly or starts jamming the machine, the line will stop. And in a plant like we run 24 by 7, okay, so even a short halt or stop can even cascading effect on the output. Second, there is a product and packaging waste. Of course, the poor sealing many means you have to discard those products, or not just the faulty packaging material, but also the finished product inside. So that's a direct hit on the efficiency and the cost. The most importantly, quality takes a hit. A compromised barrier leads to maybe early sealing, moisture ingress, or a loss of aroma, especially in snacks. I'm talking about the PepsiCo days, and of course in chocolate as well, or even in biscuit. Okay, that happens. So that opens the door to the consumer complaints. I mean, it can happen a product recall. Unfortunately, brand also gets damaged, right? The part two, the second question you ask, FMCG companies expectations from the packaging film suppliers. Of course, to prevent these problems, companies like organizations like us today are looking for more than just a supplier. Okay, so we need a technical partner. So what does it mean? So the basics must be rock solid. So use of high quality raw materials, stable manufacturing processes, strict adherence to the agreed specification. And second, we expect suppliers to have a robust quality assurance protocols in their places, their work their places. What does it mean? The batch level traceability, pre-shipment testing, regular feedback loops. But when things go wrong, and sometimes they do, right? So what matters is how fast and effectively the supply responds. So whether it's a remote troubleshooting or on-site visits or a joint root cause analysis, and we have done in past. So that technical support needs to be a very, very proactive and solution focused. And finally, a future-ready supplier also brings a sustainability mindset. So offering recyclable or a biodegradable options that meet evolving the regulatory and the brand expectations. So in summary, that's about the trust, consistency, shared commitment to the quality, continuous improvement.
Right. That's very, very valuable, Mr. Sandeep. And I think you rightly mentioned, so once if there's a, let's say, barrier loss, I mean, the product has already left the plant, it's already on the shelves. It'll just give a very bad name to the brand. So it's very important that film manufacturers take care of that. So my next question is, brands like Mondelēz and Pepsi face intense pressures to meet sustainability. Now you also mentioned recyclable films now. So, and sustainability is one topic that, every across all the people that are called, everybody is very important, stressing on this right now. How's this reshaping expectations from film suppliers, recyclability, down gauging, biodegradable solutions, etc.?
Absolutely. You said it. Sustainability is no longer just a buzzword, right? So it has
Yeah.
become a business imperative, especially for the global FMCG brands like Mondelēz or PepsiCo. The pressure to reduce our environmental footprint is intense and growing. Okay. And of course, that's a natural, right? That's a reshaping how we work with the packaging film suppliers as well. So first, we are moving strongly towards the recyclable solutions, especially monometal films like PP or we call PE structures, right? And these are easier to integrate into the existing recycling streams, which does help close the loop and aligns with the circular economic principles.
Right.
Second, I can tell you we are actively exploring these use of recycled content. Okay, so using high quality recycled resin instead of virgin plastic. So wherever technically feasible, it's not always, but where technically feasible, it's a big step forward. And suppliers who can assure quality and consistency, I believe, in these materials definitely stand out. Down gauging, as you ask, is another major focus. The idea is to reduce the plastic weight, okay, without compromising barriers performance. Or, I mean, it sounds simple, but it requires a lot of technical collaboration to get it right. So when successful, definitely it provides both cost savings and sustainability benefits, right? So there is always growing interest in a bio-based or we call it compostable metallized films, particularly in markets where the end of life infrastructure supports such materials. So these might still be in the very early stage, I would say, but innovation in this space is already accelerating. Okay. And finally, we are asking suppliers to go beyond just claims, right? So we want
Hmm.
full traceability, clear documentation. We also use life cycle assessment to demonstrate the actual impact, where the reduction in carbon footprint or improved recyclability. Of
Okay.
course, in summary, then our expectations from film suppliers like you are evolving rapidly. It's not just about the functionality anymore. It's just about the innovation, transparency, shared accountability, and of course, on the sustainability goals as well.
Right. Okay, and Mr. Sandeep, my last question. So, with evolving food safety and packaging regulations, what challenges do FMCGs face, and how can film manufacturers better support you in this?
Of course, of course. So the a very valid question, and this is a very crucial area where companies like us and packaging suppliers are really need to work hand in hand. Okay, so food safety and packaging regulations are becoming more complex and more demanding nowadays. So not just in India, but I think it's globally as well. So whether it's the EU food contact norms or Indian FSSAI standards or emerging regional requirements, we are constantly adapting to the new compliance expectations. And from the FMCG perspective, one of the big challenge is ensuring all the materials used in packaging meet very, very stringent regulatory limits. So this includes restrictions on heavy metals, chemical additives, or any potential contaminants. So those kind of things. And we must be certain that nothing harmful migrates from the packaging into the food, right? So that means extensive testing, validation, documentation, and all before the first pack even hits the market. So that's one expectation. And the top of that, we have to manage labeling compliances because now includes everything from the allergen declarations to country of origin. It's very difficult. So it's a lot to track, especially when the regulations are very vary across the export markets. And we do exports in Southeast Asia as well. So there's the cost pressure as well, right? So compliance often demand higher grade materials and more testing, which can of course shoot up the packaging cost. And balancing regulatory needs with the affordability is very, I would say it's a tightrope walking, right? So consumer today, which are also more conscious, they care about the food safety, environment impact as well. So we must be transparent and responsible enough and how we are package our products. That's one. The film manufacturers can fully step up as a partners by providing full compliance documentation like COCs, detailed migration test reports. I think it's not just about the paperwork. We also need their regulatory expertise as well. So keeping us updated on what's changing globally and how can we plan ahead. That's the proactive approach from suppliers who can alert us to new standards before they hits us, right? So that's one expectations. And finally, there is a need for the innovation is compliant sustainable film solution, which are we are doing that, right? Because it's a food safe, but also recyclable, compostable, bio-based, which help us meet both safety and sustainability goals. So, in nutshell, regulatory support from the film suppliers, which is not optional anymore now. It's like a core part of the value they bring us to the table.
Okay.
So that's it from me.
Okay. Yeah. That's very, very helpful, Mr. Sandeep. And anybody listening to this, most of us, like I said, are film manufacturers ourselves. So it's very valuable for them to understand from an FMCG perspective what exactly our company is looking for. And there's one, I read somewhere that, people are asking for sustainability and all of that, but that comes at a cost. And unfortunately, consumers are not willing to pay that cost. So all the pressure is on FMCG, on the film manufacturers to kind of figure out a cost-effective solution. And we are moving towards that, and hopefully we will reach there soon.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you for
Thank
this
you.
engaging conversation.
Yes, same here, Sandeep. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much.